are, and also build their confidence as they go into the world, as they mix up with other people, and talk about things that bothers them too, because they need to be outspoken when they are in the world too. So we have a guest in the house who will be doing justice to this and telling us what we need to know about raising confident children in a competitive world. She is Olori Amina Matemilola. She is a woman, and she is a women and youth advocate. We'll read a little bit of her biography.
Thank you, Charity. Olori Amina Adeleye is the wife of Oba Professor Saka Adelola. Olori holds a degree in law. She's a public relations practitioner with professional certification from the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. She's also a professional mediator from the Center of Disputes Resolution in UK. She has published over 12 literature books for children. Her books are also in Braille language for the visually impaired. She authored her latest books, Summer's Magical Christmas, Johnny's, an adaptation of one of her books titled 20 Years Magical Christmas.
Okay.
And she has taught in regular schools and schools for persons living with disability. You're welcome, Mom.
You're welcome, Mom.
You're welcome, Mom.
You're welcome to the program. Now let's talk about our children, because that is one area of view that a lot of people do not really know, that you deal with children and you write books on them. Raising confident children, how easy is it? Especially when it comes to inquisitive ones, the ones that we call too smart these days, or we call them in Yoruba language, tell them Otibeju. So, how do we deal with them?
Well, first of all, raising children in the fast-paced world that we are right now, first of all, parents, you know, there are some parents who are not of this generation, so it becomes really, they struggle, you know, with trying to raise children in this setting. But there are different ways. Once you're able to let the children know who they are, who you are, to know who you are is very important. It's important because it will, if you like, reset your mind to, you know, how you actually face on life, how you, you know, begin to adapt to the environment as you grow up. And so allowing the children to express themselves, you know, praising the process, not looking at the result, but the process really is one thing that you should really, as a parent, you should do. And, you know, I talked about allowing children express themselves. I'd like to just say a very short story.
Okay.
About 4 days ago, I met a young boy who had come, you know, he actually, I do a lot with visually impaired. So he had guided one of the visually impaired that had come to see me. And this young man, I was just curious because I thought, well, it's a Wednesday morning, should be in school, should be somewhere anyway, you know. And so I asked him, I said, what do you do? So he said, oh, he's studying. So I said, okay, where? What? First? And so he said mechanical engineering. I said, oh, wow, that's nice, you know. So where, you know, just wanted to know, just being curious. And then the person he had come with said, oh, it's at a workshop that he's doing. Now, at that point in time, it threw me off balance a bit because, first of all, it is mechanical engineering he's actually studying because it's in the mechanic workshop and that's what he's doing, truly. But at the same time, that's not what it's called, you know, because when you can't tell me because you are understudying a lawyer and then then you say that you are studying law or that you are a lawyer, you know, eventually. So there are processes to get to that, and that's the confidence building. So wherever he's gone, you know, there's dignity in labor. So wherever he's gone to, yes, it is true that he's taking training in that, but he's an apprentice, right? It's a workshop, so he is an apprentice. So we should be able to teach our children to be confident and to embrace whoever they are. Who are you? it's just an important thing for everybody to, you understand? And it's difficult, I know. It's kind of difficult. Everybody wants to, you know, go with the Joneses, but the truth is, be who you are, and we should be able to let
embrace your identity.
Yes, embrace your identity. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, before I got my degree, I was a lot of things. You understand? And I definitely used to tell a lot of people that I was this, I was that. I mean, I also worked in oil and gas, and I started out as a management secretary, right? Before I became head of corporate affairs, head of community relations. There's absolutely nothing wrong with starting small or being who you are. So at that time, I didn't want to tell him, no, you can't say that you're studying mechanical engineering because that's what you do in, I didn't want to say, because I didn't want to break his confidence level, because the way he told me, he was very confident about it. He was very happy about it. I didn't want to break that at all. So I told him, oh, good thing, you know. So I said, how long have you been? He said, about 6-7 months. I said, I hope you're really, you know, trying and making sure that, he said he's doing it. So I allowed it at that point. But it is my plan to still call him back, to tell him that, look, this is how it should be. If your parents are not telling you, or the owner of the workshop is not telling you, let me let you know. And I'll break it down to him, so that he can still maintain that confidence, you understand, and do what he wants to do. Yes, you know, and that's what we're lacking, really.
Okay, so I like the fact that you said in a fast-paced society like ours, and it's very difficult. I mean, if you're a parent of the millennial, beyond millennial, trying to deal with the Gen Z and this alpha generation, so sometimes they give you some responses and you're shocked, you know. In fact, I feel like when I saw this topic, I said, these children sometimes are already confident. So if we're going to be instilling confidence again, wouldn't they be overconfident, you know? So because they give you some kind of responses that ordinarily you wouldn't expect from a 3-year-old, from a 4-year-old. So what are you to do as a parent? How do we start to even making them realize who they are? And, you know, because they're already very expressive. They come home, they say things that you as a parent, you can't even fathom. You can't ask their teachers because you are wondering, where is this coming from? So how do you draw the line? Where is the balance for you as a parent?
Well, you know, having a balance is facing like reality. That's it. Having a balance is facing reality. Once you're able to let your children understand that if we can bring in the element of making mistakes at this point, you understand that if you make a mistake, it's all right to make a mistake. If you make a mistake, all you need to do is get up. Don't dwell on the mistake, on the past. You get up and move forward. In today's society, we see that overconfidence in children. It is not to step them down, but to channel it positively as well, so that you're not losing that confidence that they already have. But again, there are still some children who still lack this confidence. Yes, that's what timid. So you cannot, and once they take for instance, they make a mistake, that's the end of it. They're not going to try again. Their shell and say, oh no, I don't want to, maybe for the sake of being ashamed, or you know,
disappoint my parents.
I don't want to disappoint even my friends. People will laugh at me. But all that are just, you see them as noises around you. That's what I always tell my children as well. That look, when you make a mistake, I'm prone to making mistakes. I'm not never claimed to be God. I serve God, so I can't, you know. So I must make a mistake. You understand? It's normal for everybody to make mistakes. So what you just do is get up. You can't dwell in that mistake.
Thank you. Christian, I want to come from this angle. The early morning, I was in the assembly and I was speaking to the kids in the primary. A little boy of 8 years, 6 months. She walked towards me and gave me her school bag. All the other kids started laughing. I saw a confident child. Now, ordinarily, there might be a scenario where you can say, go back. But we allowed him. Now, I want to ask a question. How do you balance encouraging a child? Because I know there are times children make mistakes, especially when they get to preteen, going to teenage age, their words you use, they derobe them their confidence. How do I balance, my teenage child, discipline him, and also encouraging him as well, and not lose it?
Well, it's guidance. It's about guiding them. It's also about giving them free hands, to do things. You can't all the time, micromanage them. Although there are some children like that hand holding is what they need. You have to hold them, all through the steps. You understand, till they get to where they want. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that too. But at the same time, you must give children, that space so that balance can come, so they can think and make decisions on their own.
At the same time,
exactly, because the balance I am looking at, that you have to balance these things. You have a confident child, and these children have tendencies to go beyond boundaries. So if you give them an inch, they want to take the old ruler the next time they are coming. You give them liberty, they take the old stadium. So
even while you are correcting them, they ask questions.
Exactly.
That will throw you off balance.
They don't show that, yes, ma, I cannot. Do you know, they don't show that, oh, my mom said I should do this.
Definitely, they don't.
They don't show it. They come up at you like, oh, okay, so you said I should do this. You've still not told me why.
Truly, the environment also has a lot to do with, when you have children like that. The environment. And I tell you, not all children are like that, please. Not all children are like that. Not all children are like that.
Definitely.
Really, definitely. Whether they find themselves in whatever environment they find themselves, not all children are like that. There's some children who find themselves in very humble backgrounds and yet are not humble. Right?
Yeah.
And there are some children who come from, very grandiose homes and are so humble. You won't even, associate them with that
so much
the kind of family background that they have. You understand? So children are different, and if we understand that, and then avoiding to compare children. You understand? Everybody is different in their own ways. You mustn't compare, you mustn't judge. That's another thing, because that's another thing with the Gen Z children. Gen Zs, you don't judge them at all. They would even tell you, don't judge me. Don't judge me, But the bottom line is, we need to, fit square peg in a square hole, round peg in a round hole. So, however it works, and again, our culture, norms, religion, they're different. And if we understand that okay, this is how it is done in this religion, this is how it's done in this culture, you understand, and this is how, like some people will say, oh, in Yorubas, they would greet, they would kneel down.
Definitely,
People will still greet, they will still greet, but they perhaps will not kneel the way, but they still show respect. Even in, just speaking about the three major, tribes that we, see that we can group everybody into, although there are minority groups and all of that. All the 6 geopolitical zones, really. The truth is, we all have our ways of doing certain things, but if we understand that and not be too quick to judge people, and the way our children and the way they present themselves, I think would have a better.
I want to ask a question. Do you subject, you deal with special need kids? I want to ask a question. Do you advocate for mainstreaming them, or because I have seen parents bringing some special need kids, either social, physically challenged. Do you advocate us taking them in, or they should go to special school, or we mainstream them, No,
there are lots of schools that are inclusive,
Yes.
and whatever the challenge, no matter the degree of the challenge, they have the tools to take care of and manage the student. There's nothing wrong with it, but where the school doesn't have it and doesn't have that expertise, that's where my problem will be, because if you take that child to that school, then you're not going to get the best out of that child, and not everybody is posed to that you know, although we're saying everybody, let's be inclusive, everybody, but still, there won't, it won't work like that. And then let's just be realistic, you know. So there's full special needs schools, right? Just like there are full traditional regular schools, right? And then there's some special needs schools, you know, in regular schools, in government schools. You find that there are even private, the private sector who has, you know, schools and for special needs. So what I'm just trying to say now is, again, it's about not imposing, okay? But just making it available. You don't have to impose. When you know that there's something that has to be done, it has to be done, right? And every government, by the way, government, you and I, as a government. So if I have passion for it, I could set up a school, you know, a regular school, and say, okay, I also would like special needs, and put the things in place for special needs.
Okay, as we go on the program, we have just 1 minute. The time is so short to discuss this. When we are raising confident children, what should the parents do? What should they learn? Now, the world is gone past the era of too much discipline, too much beating, and also telling them what they should do without giving them the clear-cut instructions about it. Now, these children want to know why, how, and the reasons behind everything you are telling them to do. So for the parents, how should they equip themselves to deal with confident children?
Well, parents, first of all, model confidence. Yes. I don't know the level to which they can do this, because, you know, we parents, sometimes we're going through so much, and we don't want the children to know, and we just keep a straight face, and it's like, oh, everything is going on.
Everything is fine.
You know, everything is fine. You know, but if you have to do that to ensure the stability of your children, their mind, then you do it. You know, you just have to do it. But at the same time, it's not about lying, it's not about deceiving, you understand? But when you model confidence, you encourage independence, you allow the children understand that they need to be kind to themselves, they need to love themselves, you understand? And accept that, I mean, just be you, you know, and do you, you know, for children to know that. That's very important, because that will be the beginning of their confidence. So however they find themselves, in whatever way, you understand, they just see that this is me. Insofar as they're not causing any harm on anybody, you understand, you should, you know, encourage that as a parent.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thank you very much,
for coming on the program and talking about raising our children in a confident way, and also equipping ourselves as parents to be confident while we are trying to train them. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Happy New Year to you too. I want to thank my ladies to love her. Thank you for coming and giving me your opinions. And to Miss too. Thank you for your time on the program. And we want to thank our viewers who stood with us from 11 to about this time. It is time for us to go on the program, but we still have other programs on OGTV. Stay tuned with OGTV. We'll be back on Ladies Rendezvous next Monday, but it will be in another month, the second month in the year 2026. We hope you're getting ready for the